How many of you have experienced any raw recipes? Oh, awesome. Most of you then. So you're mostly here just to get new ideas and that kind of thing? Yeah? Awesome. Glad to hear it. I started my road to health probably about 3 years ago. My body was very toxic. I had eaten everything under the sun. There was a period of time where I did the high protein diet, because I thought that was the most perfect thing in the world. I ate chicken all the time. I ate cottage cheese for breakfast every day of my life. And then all of a sudden, my body took a toll. And it was giving me signals that something was wrong. And so I was on this search to find out what the perfect diet was. And it just so happened I was going to see my friend in Southern California. I went there, I told her the problems I was experiencing. She handed me this book. And the book explained to me the harmful effects of dairy and meat. And it was just an answer to my prayer, is what it was. Because originally, I was experiencing a lot of pain in my body. My thoughts were very toxic thoughts. It plays a big part on your health. And so shortly after I started just an all raw diet, everything became more in harmony, I guess you would say. My body became more balanced. And so I began to realize that there was no more joint pain. And I was an avid runner. And so it was really important to me to be able to, not have that pain anymore, because it made it difficult. And so also some other things that I was experiencing was my hormones were out of balance, and I learned that there's specific foods that you can actually eat to bring them into balance. So I'm hoping that as we go through this process today that I can share some of those things that may help you if you're experiencing certain ailments in your body. How many of you experience pain in your body? Yeah, quite a few of you. Yeah. So hopefully there'll be some answers that might help you, in your relationship with food, so that you can heal your body. So just to get started, the raw taco salad, generally I would use my food processor for this, but I really wanted all of you to see that you can actually make this without it. And so sure, it's easier with it, but not everybody has one or can afford it. And so first of all, as you see, on the recipe, it calls for 2 cups of walnuts. Well, I'm going to half this recipe because there's really no need for me to make a full portion. And then, so I put the walnuts in a bowl. And then I take my, where's my, my sun-dried tomatoes are missing in action. Oh, right here. So I took some sun-dried tomatoes, and what I did was I soaked them for about 3 hours, and then I cut them up really fine. And then, so it kind of comes, I don't know if you can see that, but it's a really soft texture. And so I'm just going to put that in my bowl. Okay, and then it calls for olive oil. So I'm going to put a tablespoon of olive oil in there. And it's always best to get the expeller pressed or the cold pressed, because if we choose other oils that, that have been processed in any way, they're very toxic as well. I don't know if you all also eat cooked food, but that's one thing to keep in mind also when you cook oil. You know, it's very toxic as well. And so a substitute can be like if you're sauteing vegetables or something like that, you can actually saute it in water, and it works out perfectly. So I'd encourage you to do that. And also in soup recipes, you can actually not saute your onions and garlic. What I do is I just throw it all in the pan. It saves time, that I don't have to worry about, you know, the toxic oil either. So those are just some tips. And so then next we're going to put in the chili powder and the cayenne and the sea salt. And then we'll just stir that up really good. You guys are going to be able to try this sample. And it's amazing how much it actually looks like hamburger meat. I mean, when you're doing this by hand, it takes a little while to get it all mixed up. But as I say, you can do that. And you know, one thing, I don't know, how many of you have dehydrators at home? Awesome, quite a few of you. It's so easy and really cost effective to dry your own tomatoes. A lot of times at the farmer's market, they'll give you a whole box for $1 a pound, which is really cool. And I know for me, it usually takes about 2 days because I dehydrate them on 115 degrees. So, and it's just so easy. You slice them about 1/4 inch, stick them in the dehydrator, and then you've got beautiful tomatoes. And then I have them for all winter long. So anyway, I'll show you. I probably could stir that a little bit more, but I wanted you to see kind of the texture. Can you see it from there? Looks like hamburger, huh? Yeah. And what's wonderful, it has all the wonderful seasonings of taco meat. And so next, I'm going to make a spicy salsa dressing. And you guys are familiar with raw foods. So with the taco recipes that are out there, you've got your guacamole, and you've got your sour cream, and then you've got your salsa that you have to make. And those are fun to do, but how many people have that much time to spend, you know? So I'm just going to show you how to make a spicy salsa dressing, and just make it really easy. So first of all, I'm going to split this recipe in half as well. So I'm going to put in some lemon juice. And then my prunes. I've already soaked them. I only have one because I'm halving it, but I soaked it so it'll be much softer. And what's amazing about fruit of any kind, or most fruits, it has a natural pectin in there, so it actually thickens up your dressing or your desserts that you're making. A lot of times they'll make raw food desserts, and the pectin will actually thicken it up. So it's really kind of cool to be able to use, you know, fruit. So I'll put that in. And let's see, what else do I have? Oh, I have leeks. I think leeks is kind of like that forgotten vegetable, you know, because I think most people use onions, probably. But this has a lot milder taste. So that's why I chose leeks today. And so I just dumped that right in. And then oregano. And fresh herbs are really the way to go. They really make a recipe. I've got some growing in my house, but I didn't have enough, you know, to bring, so I had to do dried for you guys. Sorry about that. And we got a jalapeno, and I took all the white membranes out so it wouldn't be hot, and I took out all the seeds because I don't know how many people like hot and who doesn't. So anyway, we'll put that in. Of course, I would imagine if you guys are here that you probably like the taste of Mexican food, so you're probably used to a little spice, huh? Okay, and then the garlic clove, which I know I brought my garlic. Where did I put it? Maybe I didn't. Okay, well, you guys just pretend like I have the garlic. Okay, so, and then that's for the other side. All right, so what we're going to do is put in our tomatoes right here. And actually, I cut up 2 tomatoes because I don't know what I was thinking. I thought I was going to make the full recipe, but I'm only going to do part of these tomatoes. I brought 2 jars, and I only needed basically 1. So I'm just going to blend that. Okay, I'm going to make some noise. Have a Vitamix. A regular blender will work just fine. I mean, they really are a raw chef's best friend. But I know I started out with a regular blender, and I was mixing some smoothies, and one day my husband called me from work, and he says, "You better check your blender. I think a piece is missing from it. It was in his smoothie." Oh, so he says, "That's it. I'm getting you a new blender." That wasn't a good thing. So, haven't had any problems since. Okay. So then you can just put it in a jar. In fact, I'm just going to put these other tomatoes in here. And see, it's kind of thick, huh? It smells good. You can smell the spices. Okay, so one thing I want to show you, you can actually just take your hamburger meat and just crumble it on top of your salad. But that's probably what I would do, if we're just doing it for my husband and I. But if, you're entertaining or something, you just want it to look nice and pretty. And so you can take an ice cream scoop. My gloves on here. And just kind of pat it down. Whoops. And then you have like a little patty to put on top of your salad. Isn't that cool? Okay. So then with your greens, you can pretty much choose any greens that you want. The darker the vegetable, the darker the green, the better. And I'd encourage you to try different greens so you get different vitamins. And so this is kind of what it looks like. Ta-da! And you guys get to sample that too. I think these are a little bigger than the standard size. Hope you guys are hungry.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Did you use walnuts specifically for taste or looks, or?
They seem to be a little more meatier. I would say you could probably use maybe pecans as well in it. I definitely give it a try because usually those are pretty versatile. When you get into the cashews, sometimes that's a little different animal. Oh, I shouldn't use that word. Are you going to help? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's very cool. There you go. Thanks. Oh, let me grab another one. Oh, and this would taste really good with some avocado, if you like avocado. And the salsa dressing. I tried to make it really easy on us.
tomatoes, do you salt it?
I don't. I use as little salt as possible. I mean, I use it sometimes, like in this dish that I use the salt, but I already used it in the salsa. But I did it, yeah. I just didn't want too
So
much.
when you just dry the tomatoes, you just cut them and put them in the
Cut them and
dehydrator?
put them in, yeah. But if you, one thing I learned though, if you have more than one dehydrator, don't put them together, because it does something weird. It sucks all the air, and then they never get dry. I learned that the hard way. Okay.
Is the Vitamix, how hard is it to clean, that top?
Oh, it's easy. Actually, one thing that they do as a selling point, does everybody have one? Okay, we have lots of extras, so if you want more, you're welcome to have more. But with the Vitamix, you put a drop of dish soap in it. You fill it with maybe halfway in water, put it on, and then run it at high speed, and it gets most of the stuff out of there. And then, but then, sometimes you still have to clean it a little bit. I find it just depends on what you're making, but yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. No. I know there's a lot of people who don't dry theirs, but I do, because we have really hard water where we live, and I do hand dry it. You don't have to. That's just a choice, but it just keeps the water spots from getting all over it. But I think Costco now is selling them for something like $3.80 something. So it's a good investment. But as I say, you can use a regular blender.
It'll change your life.
It will. You have one?
Vitamin, we've had it for over 10 years, and all my friends have it. Anybody wants to start getting healthy and experimenting and or having fun and or whatever, it'll change your life. The ice creams, the soups,
Ooh, yes.
the nut butters.
Yeah.
I don't want to take your show, but it's a great tool.
Yeah, it is. Thank you for sharing that. That's
Last 10, 15, 20 years ago.
awesome. Okay, so what do we have going next? How are we doing on time? It's about 3 o'clock.
Yep.
I'm going to kind of, yeah.
If someone doesn't or can't eat, chooses not to eat tomatoes,
Okay.
would you recommend, can you recommend like some replacement substitute?
For tomatoes? Ooh, that's a good question. Are they allergic to tomatoes, or they just don't like them?
Allergic.
Allergic? Okay. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. Does anybody know?
First of all, a huge difference between raw and slightly cooked. I know we're at a vegan festival, but there's some days that say slightly cooked or slightly steamed is better, but I'm not going to debate that. And then there's such a huge variety of tomatoes. There are some that are much higher in glycogen, some much lower.
Yes.
What's called eating on the wild side.
Oh, yeah. She's the one who does like the kimchi. Yeah. I got her book.
She doesn't say eat wild foods. She says if you're going to go to the Trader Joe's, the Whole Foods, and the farmers markets, there's whole varieties of fruits, vegetables, and foods you can choose that are wild in origin, and a huge proportional difference in nutritional content.
Yeah, that's amazing. But it's really sad when somebody's allergic to tomatoes because, they're so good for you. They yeah.
Tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, sometimes people in that category.
Yeah, but they're really good for the skin and the hair. And, yeah. And let's see. I'm going to go run this to the kitchen really quick. Dirty dishes. I'll need a spatula really soon. And the dish to wash the dishes. Yeah, just wash that. Okay. Where'd my little notebook go? I guess I can just go in that hamburger meat container. That works.
I really like the salad. Baby spinach or regular spinach?
There's, yes, it is baby spinach from Costco that was already in the mix, but I also got more to mix in that was separately. Yeah, so any other comments about?
What's your opinion on raw nuts versus soaked nuts, and then how long to soak some?
Yes, soaked nuts is, I highly encourage it because there are some enzymes that are actually inhibited inside the nuts and seeds, and then when you soak them, it's called sprouting, even though nuts per se don't actually get that little tail on them, but they are more nutritious. And so I can't say that I always soak mine depending on how much time that I have, but I would definitely encourage people to do that when they do have time because it's going to just release so many more enzymes. Let's see. Did you want to add to that?
Some nuts need a really short amount of soaking.
Oh,
And then you get the maximum nutrition. Some like almonds.
yeah.
I don't know which ones.
Yeah.
50 to 10 hours.
Exactly, or overnight. Because a lot of times when I'm making almond milk or pecan milk or whatever, I'll just soak them overnight and then the next morning I can make my milk. So, yeah. So does anybody want to share? I mean, what did you think of the dressing itself?
Really good.
Was it good? Okay, good. Very good. And then, so the taco meat, was that kind of weird for you? Or no, not at all. Okay, and it's filling, isn't it? Yeah. Awesome. I'm going to kind of skip around a little bit here. You guys have seen those cookies that our moms used to make. I don't know if your mom made them, but I know my mom did. The little Mexican wedding rings with the powdered sugar on them. Dry as can be, but they were so good. So I thought, what can I do, to make it raw? And then, so I just put together this little recipe. They're not as dry as those. In fact, I think I like them better. And I'm just going to move myself down here. Thank you. Does anybody want any more? Yeah? Just one? If you change your mind, come on in. Okay, that works. A dinner tonight.
Should we walk them over?
Oh, you can if you want. Oh, this is the second round, yeah. I was just going to put him here. If anybody wants to take it, come on up. You won't interrupt me. In fact, if you guys want dressing, I'd be happy to give you some because I've got a ton. In fact, I tried freezing it the other day, and it freezes really well. I was so surprised. I wanted to try the taco meat, but I bet that would freeze really well too. So, but experiment with it. And there's those days you come home from work and you just don't feel like making anything, and when you have something in the freezer, you can just pull it out. That's probably good, honey. My husband, he's such a good helper. And then if you can get the wedding rings out, I haven't made them yet, but you can get them out there in the top shelf, other little balls. Thank you. Okay. switch my...
Let's see. Will that work?
I don't think so. Oh. Oh, you got all kinds of things going on. That's cool. You guys are ready. Garbage. Hello. We just finished up on some taco salad. Do you feel like trying some? Come on up and just help yourself. There's plenty here.
Do you want to take this out of the way?
Oh, okay.
Okay, great.
Okay. Thank you, Janet.
Sure.
Cool. Okay, so the Mexican wedding rings. You can actually use any kind of nut butter, well, except for peanut butter. Peanut butter is just not the same, you know? And, of course, with peanuts, it's a little harder to digest, so that's usually not one of my choices. But any other will actually work in this. My favorite's always pecan. Pecan milk, pecan nut butter. But in this recipe, for the samples, I used almond butter, and then I ran out, and I thought, oh, what am I going to do? And I thought, oh, I can make some pecan butter. But you can find that, like at a Whole Foods, and probably Rainbow may have it as well, or some other nutritional shop. But when you're shopping for almond butter or some nut butter, look for the raw version, because then you're going to have all the nutrients in it. In fact, there's a vendor here today that's selling almond butter, 2 different flavors, and it's sprouted, yeah. So he sprouts it, puts it in the dehydrator, and then makes the nut butter out of it. So let's see. First of all, we need. Where did I put my nut butter? Oh, here's my pecan butter. Okay, and this is something. Have you guys heard of mesquite powder before? It's like a little powder, and what it comes from the mesquite plant that has a pod. So this is actually from the pod, and it's really good for controlling blood sugar levels. One thing that I like about this is you can put it in your smoothie. And then you feel more full and satisfied, you know, after putting just maybe a half a tablespoon to a tablespoon in it. But I found it has the same effect, of course, when you put it in these little balls. And I find I only eat 1 versus 2 or 3, you know. So that's why I put that in there. I got mine online. I know our Whole Foods is just a little small one, and so I know the bigger ones probably have it. You know, here in San Francisco, more than likely, they probably have it, so I would check there. But if not, online, just type in mesquite in your Google search, mesquite powder. And then your seeds, you got sunflower seeds and sesame seeds. And then some raisins. This acts as a sweetener too. You guys made energy balls before? Yeah, aren't they good? Love them. That's basically what this is. You can put anything in them. Okay, I'm not working. Alrighty. don't know if that's a good idea to let it hang, but we'll try it.
I don't think the bowl's good all the way. You know how they
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and I should know that too. I'm just going to let that go a little bit longer. And, you know, I've made them before where I've just mixed everything up and you can't even tell what's in it. And then other times I want the texture. So it's just all a matter of preference. Okay, that's probably good. And if you can't put it in a ball, that kind of tells you that maybe you need to mix it a little bit more. So we'll find out soon enough. Okay, so if you want to put coconut on, you can. Just put a little coconut in a bowl. And then, well, first of all, you want to put this in a little ball. See if it'll work for me.
If they wanted to add comfort to it, raw cacao, of course, or cacao bean, how much would you suggest we add to the cacao?
You could actually you probably want to add a little bit more almond butter. I would add a little bit more almond butter and then put in, you could do a quarter cup. A quarter cup, yeah, of.
Did you put the coconut nectar in there already?
Oh, no, I'm doing a good job today, aren't I? Yeah. How many of you have used coconut nectar? Yeah, isn't it great stuff? I just love it. Thank you for telling me that. That's probably what my problem is. It's not forming. So let's try that, see what happens. I bet it makes a difference. This is a very low glycemic sweetener. You can get it online. I think the cheapest that I've ever found is at Vita Cost. And in fact, they pay the shipping if it's a certain amount. So they also have it at Whole Foods and probably Rainbow. Maybe, I don't know, I haven't been into that Daily Health store. Do they have that kind of stuff across the street? Nobody knows. Okay, let's try that. Okay. So what other things have you used coconut nectar with?
I was wrote granola.
Uh-huh. Yes. Awesome. So good. In fact, I make a granola too. Just it makes a difference. And then if you wanted to use coconut, then you would just put it in a bowl and then you would just coat it, roll it around in the coconut. And then you would have a fun little treat to kind of break up the day. And so we get to give you a sample of that as well. There's nobody allergic to nuts, is there? Okay, cool. Thank you. Uh-huh.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. There might even be enough for two, maybe, but we'll go through around here and see. Uh-huh. You're welcome. Okay, awesome. Thank you. You like it? Awesome. So you think they're better than the traditional wedding cookies?
Yeah. Because they're moisture.
Yeah, exactly. And depending on what kind of nut butter you use, it's going to change the flavor too.
We
made these with dates before?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, I actually used dates a lot, and I'm so thankful for dates because they allowed me to get off of my addiction to all the refined sugars. But now I'm at that stage where it's time to let go of the dates. And so that's what I'm doing now. So I'm experimenting with different recipes without the dates because they're very high in fructose. And they have an addictive quality. And so I try to stay away from those types of things. Personally, I suffered from emotional eating. And so even though I didn't have an issue with other addictive things, I still had to release myself from those. You know, like every once in a while my husband and I would go out for a margarita. And that was kind of our date night. It was just a fun thing to do. But then when I made this decision, I realized if I was going to conquer this battle of emotional eating, I had to break free from, you know, anything with addictive qualities, including gluten. I had to release myself from gluten, did that, and it's just amazing how much better that I felt once I quit all of that, all the refined sugars, just anything that was addictive. And now I've received breakthrough with my emotional eating. So, and you know, I didn't realize how prevalent that is, you know, and I thought it was just a woman thing. But, you know, there's some men out there that are also battling, you know, the same types of things. And so, but anyway, I hope that kind of gives, if you're kind of in that same place, and I'd just like to encourage you to say goodbye to some of those traits and just see what happens. See if you're able to conquer it, you know, if you want to, you know. But I found that once, because it was like, okay, when there was an issue that was happening in my life that was very stressful, you know, I would run to food rather than trying to focus on the problem and try to fix that. But I found now that I'm not addicted to these types of foods, that I could conquer that problem immediately and just nip it right in the bud and then just take care of it. And my life just runs so much smoother because of it. So I would just really highly recommend that if you're battling that as well. Let's see. What else was I going to tell you? Oh, this is what the coconut nectar looks like. It is raw, and it comes from the coconut tree, and it's the sap. You know, similar to like a maple tree, the way the maple syrup is released, and they just tap it. And then there is a process with maple syrup, so it's not raw like this is. So that's kind of some of the differences there. But it's really, they get this. This grows in a lot of coconut trees in the Philippines, and that's where Coconut Secret comes. So if you're interested in learning more about that process, I encourage you to go to coconutsecret.com, and it tells you, you know, all about how they get this from the coconut tree. Do you guys have any questions? No? Okay. The next thing. So did you guys want more? Yeah? So why don't you just kind of pass it around? There's plenty, let me tell you. They said to have enough for 80 people.
Thank you.
Do you want to just pass that along? Thank you so much.
How long did it take you not to crave sugar anymore?
That's a really interesting question. Now, if you're saying unrefined or refined sugar, I immediately, as soon as I came home from my trip down south from my friends, I went through my cupboards and threw away everything. I know a lot of people, they do it gradually and that's okay too. It's whatever works for you. But I just wanted to start fresh because I'm like an all or nothing person. I just do it. And but as I said, I had other things that I relied on at that point, like the dates and the raisins. I mean, I just take a handful of raisins and eat those, And but right away on the white sugar. And, but I would say it took me a good couple years, actually. But I think it depends on where everybody else is at. And, that kind of brings up another topic. I actually had to find the root of my problem, which I didn't know what it was. And all my life I had, had battled this. And then, so it got worse as an adult because of all the stresses in life. You got things with your children and you got things with your marriages and you just got all this stuff. And so I had to find out why. And once I was able to identify the root problem, then I was able to start my healing process. But until then, it was just something I had blocked from my memory as a child. And so it was kind of, because I started eating living foods, away from the preservatives, away from all the pesticides and the fillers and additives and all that stuff, all that toxicity in my body, I could not release anything. I mean, it came to the forefront as soon as I cleared that. Does that make sense? I hope I explained that. Does anybody have any questions on that? Because I want to make sure you understand.
How long did it take you from when you started to change your diet to when you felt like you were conquered?
How long did it take?
Yeah.
Well, I had a lot of acid in my body, let me tell you. I ate a lot of soy products, in that high-protein diet, which was very toxic in my body, and I had to really rid all that. But I would say, it was a good couple of years. Yeah, and then once I was able to remove all that, a lot of people may not be as acidic as I was, so it may not take them as long as it did for me. But so I hope that kind of answers the question. Okay, thank you. But it's really fun because there's things that I had put off for years and years and years, and now I'm doing them, and they're getting done. It's awesome. Okay. So everybody got a sample, good. So we'll get ready for the next thing. I don't know if there was some plastic baggies somewhere. I don't know if we just want to put that in a plastic baggie.
Maybe when you need your other stuff.
I'll take the margarita right now.
Right now?
Mm-hmm. Okay. As far as margaritas go, we're going to make margaritas, which that was, as I told you earlier, that was one of my favorite things. And there's always a substitute, which is really fun. This is just all made of citrus fruit. I'm not going to actually demo it today, but I'm going to let you sample it. But I wanted to show you this piece of equipment. It's just this little citrus juicer. It is a Cuisinart. It was about $30, but I think you can get some electric juicers for like $20, something like that. But you can also get the little hand juicers for small bits, like maybe you need 2 tablespoons of lemon or something. You can just get out your little small one. And instead of getting of course, nobody uses bottled lemon juice, do they? No. Why? Because
It's not fresh.
yeah, that's right. And it's been processed, the ones in the bottle, so you're not getting the full nutrients. So, but I mean, that's a choice that you have to make, and you have to decide how far you want to go with this. If you choose to go all fresh, then go fresh. If you just want to do little bits of fresh here and there, that's okay too. But just, I just encourage you to at least incorporate more greens into your diet. That is really one of the keys through this whole process. Another key to cleaning out the toxins in your body is juicing, doing your own vegetable juicing. It's huge. I can't stress that enough. It just completely just cleans all that garbage out of you quickly. And so, in fact, there's been so many people that have had things like cancer or heart disease and things, and other ailments as well, where they've been able to cure their bodies just because they've been juicing. And it's huge. I mean, it's time consuming, yes. We won't go into that so much today, but it is huge. I just encourage you to do it. And you don't have to have an expensive juicer by any means, but make vegetables your focus and not so much the fruits, and save the fruits for special occasions. And see if we've got our margaritas. So to make two 12-ounce or two 6-ounce, two 6-ounce glasses. You can even serve this in your margarita glasses. That's kind of fun too. But you just need 4 oranges, 2 grapefruits, and a teaspoon of lime. And play with it a little bit. Maybe you want to change your citrus a little bit. And one thing that I do sometimes for parties is I juice oranges and apples, and I mix them together. And it makes a wonderful little punch, I guess you would say, kind of like a punch, just for people to enjoy. And I know our farmers market, nearby in Davis, they actually have like a raw apple juice that you can get, and they freeze it. And then you can just go home, put it in your freezer or thaw it out. Do they have that kind of stuff here at your farmers markets?
Sometimes I see it at the ferry building.
Yeah, it's awesome. Love that. Or you can make it yourself. But, so anyway, I think there's plenty here. So if you guys want to just take a couple, be great. Yeah. When you juice it, oh, that's really a good question. I very rarely ever put fruit in mine. If anything, in the very beginning, I did a little bit of apple. But, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Has anybody tried that?
Yeah, you can juice a whole lemon and a whole lime.
Okay.
When it comes to oranges.
Is it really strong with the peel?
No, it still tastes like just lemon or lime.
Interesting. Well, I'm going to try that today. That's
Make sure it's
awesome.
organic, of course.
I have another question. How long would you recommend storing freshly juiced juice?
Okay.
Trying to drink it, just drink it immediately is the best.
That is the best, most nutritional way to do it. However, if you are busy and you just can't do that every single day of your life, 3 times a day or whatever, or 5 times a day or however many times you juice, that would just drive me absolutely crazy if I had to do that. But what I do is I take these little jelly jars, and I buy, I fill up my juice, I put them in the freezer, and then I thaw them out each day in the refrigerator. Like the night before, I'll put it in the fridge, and is it as nutritious? No. But is it more nutritious than if you didn't do it at all?
So it's better to freeze it than just to sink it in the fridge?
I would recommend that, yes. Yeah. No, that's a good question too. I did find this out the hard way. If you fill it, just give it like a 1/2 inch to allow expansion, you're okay. It won't break the glass. But if you fill it all the way up, you're going to have break glass. So, yeah. So that has really helped me. In fact, I buy I've tried to do 2 batches before, meaning I buy a big bag of carrots from Costco because they have the organic Bonnie loves, and then I add all my greens and all that stuff in with it. But I try to do like 2 10-pounds at one time. That's too many to do at once. It overheats your juicer, and it's like just not fresh enough. So I probably wouldn't go any more than just my 1 batch, which would probably be about 12 jars. Probably 12 jars. Yeah.
For the Mexican wedding rings, what did you say the mesquite powder does? And what would you recommend for a substitute for the coconut nectar and anything?
Coconut nectar, well, it kind of depends on where you're at. I know very early on in my journey, when I first started, I was doing raw honey. I mean, I don't do raw honey anymore, so that's why I kind of went to coconut nectar. I know there's some people who use agave, but it raises my blood sugar. I know people say that it doesn't, but it did mine. So I kind of stay away from the raw agave, but that's your choice. So I hope that helps you in some way.
What does the mesquite powder do? I think you mentioned.
Mesquite powder really levels out your blood sugar levels. It takes longer to digest, so it kind of evens out the blood sugar and doesn't make you hungry right away, you know. So, yeah, you're welcome. So let's see, we're doing pretty good on time. Did everybody get a margarita? You want more? Yeah, I think you should pass it around. In fact, we've got some more of the Mexican wedding rings. So if you want to take them home, you're welcome to do that. Okay, anybody else? Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Can I grab one?
Yeah.
Bring one for tonight.
You're welcome. Yeah. Any what?
I did want one of those.
Oh, yeah. I do. I'm sorry. I didn't get you one.
I did want one of those.
Here we
I forgot.
go. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
I'm going to ask if you're done, can I make a quick announcement?
Yeah. Just a what? You're welcome.
Since you're learning about we're having three fermentation speakers about fermentation. They're
Ah.
free, they migrate. You're going to have a guy talking about sauerkraut, they talk about kinsu, and they talk about pickling. So these are free lecture demos. It's probably going to read downtown, so please come.
Oh, yeah. I want to add to that, too. Very early on in my health journey, I started taking probiotics, and I realized after a few months went by that it had milk in it, and I'm going, I was drinking milk. I'm going, no. So then I started making my own sauerkraut and kimchi, and it's actually quite tasty, and it's so easy to make with very few ingredients. So I'd encourage you to go to this. This is awesome that they're putting this on.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Ross, where's that?
Yeah, and my husband and I do a lot of traveling to South America and Germany, and so you know how when you go out of the country, you come back and you're sick? I decided that every time I'm going to leave the country, the week before, I'm going to take my natural probiotic, make a kimchi or a sauerkraut or something like that, and then I was completely fine when I came back after I tried that. It was awesome. So
when you travel, do you bring your own food or do you find places
Oh, yeah.
that you
That is a good question because, well, the people that we're with, they know that I can't eat certain things, or it's not that I can't, it's just I don't choose to. And so I have started making my own, it's not raw by any means, but my own dehydrated soup. And basically I take any vegetable, maybe sometimes a bean recipe, and I dehydrate it. And then when I go out of the country, I just bring my little thermos with me, and I just put a cup of hot water in it, and then I wait for about 10, 15 minutes, and then I have these plump vegetables, and it just works out really well for me. And then also another thing that I do for breakfast, I'll take some, you guys know chia seeds? What chia seeds are? Chia. Cheez-Its. Not to be confused with Cheez-Its. No, it's spelled C-H-I-A. It's a seed. And so basically what I do is I take just a little bowl to travel with, and then I put 3 tablespoons of chia seeds in my bowl, and then 3/4 cups of water, and I stir it, and I let it sit for a little bit, and then it forms this kind of like a gel type thing. And then I stir it up, and then I can add whatever I have available to me. If I've got fresh fruit, I'll use that, like maybe a half a banana or some berries. And if I don't have that, usually when I travel, I'll bring some raisins or something like that to mix in with it. And so what else do I do? Oh, sometimes I make granola bars, and I make my own granola. I take that sometimes. And then, like if I'm traveling in the U.S., usually, I'll just try to find a place that has salad bar, or go to Whole Foods, because they have a salad bar there. So, yeah, that's kind of what I do.
What about in Germany?
In Germany, I
Take a
do.
big suitcase and take all that stuff. You're going to stay a while, right, in Germany?
Well, actually, I take only a 24-inch suitcase and also one carry-on, which I take like kind of like a cooler that size that I'll just drape over my shoulder and carry it with me with all my food supplies in it. But I use baggies a lot because it doesn't take as much room. So that's helpful for me. I'm trying to think, what else do I do? Oh, you can dehydrate fruits or vegetables. I have a friend who dehydrates her smoothie, and that works good with her dehydrator. She just make a regular, like you were making your everyday smoothie for breakfast. Just pour it on your dehydrator sheet. It makes it flat as can be. Kind of like if you were making like a fruit roll-up or something. Only hers had, veggies and a little bit of fruit in it. And she just rolls it up and eats it. So there are things that you can do.
Could she rehydrate it?
No, she didn't rehydrate it. She just, could she? I don't think I would want to try it. I don't know. That's good. You should try it.
I just have to buy the
Yeah. That's funny. Well, we have about 5 minutes, so if you have any other questions.
So what would you recommend if you start on that juicing diet?
Okay.
Specific-
Like how to start?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you're brand new to it, I'll tell you what I did just to kind of ease my way into it. I did all carrot juice. In fact, if anybody has any stomach issues, do straight carrot juice for a while. See what happens. It does wonders. You would think, right? And then you can start gradually introducing other things. Like after the carrot juice, I started putting in a little bit of greens, some beet. Beets are really good for women especially. Well, men too, I think, with the prostate, and then also for women with like menopausal or just their monthly issues that they have. That's really good. And speaking of which, another thing, it was crazy because there was one thing that I was putting in my body it was like 5 months after I started this whole thing, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to get rid of, this prescription that I'm taking. It's polluting my body. And so I was taking birth control pills at the time. My doctor said, if you do that, you're going to be thrown into an early menopause. And so sure enough, that's what happened. I'm too young. And so, but anyway, just excuse me, men. I hope you don't mind me talking about this stuff.
It's my favorite topic.
It's your favorite topic.
Coming cold turkey off the pills since you were into early menopause?
I did. Of course, my age, I'm pretty up there in years, but not that old.
But that's what the doctor said would happen.
Yeah, the doctor told me that was what would happen. And it did happen. In fact, I was just having so many issues all month long. I had to deal with this. And so I discovered that there are healing properties in mushrooms. And I started eating one mushroom a day, and I put it on my salad. And then I found early on, if I missed a day, I was in trouble. So I continued making sure, because those spoil easy, so you have to keep going back to the store, to get them. And but anyway, now I'm completely healed. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And it's okay for me to miss my mushrooms here and there, It's not like I have to because I've been healed. And so that, and let's see, what else? Oh, I had an infection for years and years and years and years. And the doctors couldn't figure out what it was. They could not figure it out. And so then my research led me to cinnamon sticks, and I thought, what am I going to do with cinnamon sticks? I have no idea what to do with them. So I made a tea. I learned you can make a tea with cinnamon sticks, and so I did that, and then this area was completely healed that I had been battling for like 15 years, and it was completely gone. So there's something about these fruits and vegetables.
Well, how much of that tea did you drink, and how much of that carrot juice would you drink? Do you drink like a gallon of that a day, or just one drink?
Yeah,
a day?
well,
Or do you supplement your regular diet with that?
If you want to start out slow just to get your body used to it, you can do that. Or you can I would recommend that you have at least 2 or 3 a day.
8-ounce glasses?
Uh-huh. Yeah, just to get started. But I want to warn you, though, if you're like me, everybody goes through a detox period a little bit differently than other people. But, some people experience headaches and, like fogginess, like walking around in a fog, just because their body doesn't know what to do with all this healthy stuff. And so once it rids it, just be patient, don't give up, just keep doing it, and then eventually it'll all even out, and then, you won't be experiencing, like, I remember...
Early menopause, right?
No, I think, yeah, you're pretty safe there. But I remember, I tell you, I was in that bathroom. I can't tell you how many times through that detox process. So you just have to be patient and just realize that it's going to get better. Don't stop what you're doing, because what you're doing is right. And so what else?
Do you know how brown rice syrup would compare to the coconut nectar?
How what?
The brown rice syrup, the sweetener?
Oh, okay.
Because I've heard the bad things about agave nectar, but I can't find too much on brown rice.
Yeah. Now the brown rice syrup I had used early on, which is fine. It's been processed. So myself, I just chose at one point to give that up, because I used to make like these little granola bars out of them, and they were very, very tasty. But if this is all new to you, I encourage you to try those things. It's sure better than doing, refined white sugar. Yeah, it's a lot better. It'll get you through it until you're ready for the next step. Yeah.
So is the problem with the processing because it's destroying the nutrients only, or is there some other negative effect of processing in brown rice syrup, for example?
Yeah, well, the nutrients are lost. Especially if you're dealing with, some health issues, and you want to see healing happen, I just really encourage you to go raw all the way around, because you are going to get that full nutrition in there. Okay, so I guess it's time to go. Yeah, we got another. Yeah, thank you. Thanks all for coming.